The wind howled across the arid plains of the ancient Near East, carrying the whispers of destiny. In the bustling city of Ur, a man named Abram stood apart from the idol worshippers and the noise. He was 75 years old, yet his journey was only just beginning. The voice of the Lord came to him, not as thunder, but as an undeniable shifting in his soul. Get out of your country, from your family, and from your father's house, the Lord commanded. The instruction was absolute, requiring the abandonment of everything familiar and safe. To a land that I will show you, the voice promised, offering no map, only a direction. God continued, I will make you a great nation. I will bless you and make your name great. And you shall be a blessing, the Lord declared, sealing a promise that would span eternity. I will bless those who bless you, and I will curse him who curses you. And in you all the families of the earth shall be blessed. A prophecy that reached far beyond Abram's comprehension. With trembling hands but a steady heart, Abram packed his tents and gathered his household. They left Haran, a caravan of faith moving slowly into the unknown horizon. Sarai, Abram's wife, rode beside him, her beauty radiant despite the harsh sun and the uncertainty of the road. They acquired people and possessions in Haran, but their true wealth was the promise they carried. Finally, the dust of their journey settled as they entered the land of Canaan. Abram passed through the land to the place of Shechem, as far as the terebinth tree of Moreh. The Canaanites were fierce and present in the land, watching the strangers with suspicious eyes. Then the Lord appeared to Abram again, standing amidst the foreign trees. To your descendants I will give this land, God said, gesturing to the hills and valleys. Overwhelmed with gratitude, Abram built an altar there to the Lord who had appeared to him. He moved from there to the mountain east of Bethel, seeking higher ground. He pitched his tent with Bethel on the west and Ai on the east, claiming the space spiritually. There, he built another altar to the Lord and called on the name of the Lord. But faith is rarely a straight path without trials, and a severe famine struck the land. The ground cracked, the crops failed, and the livestock groaned in hunger. Abram journeyed toward the south, and eventually, desperation led him down to Egypt. As the Great Pyramids and the Nile came into view, fear began to grip Abram's heart. He looked at Sarai, realizing that her stunning beauty could be a death sentence for him in this pagan land. Indeed, I know that you are a woman of beautiful countenance, he whispered urgently to her. When the Egyptians see you, they will say, this is his wife, and they will kill me. But they will let you live, he added, the fear of death clouding his judgment. Please say you are my sister, he begged, that it may be well with me for your sake. It was a lie born of survival instinct, a crack in the armor of his faith. When they entered Egypt, the reaction was exactly as Abram had feared. The Egyptians saw the woman and marveled that she was very beautiful. The princes of Pharaoh saw her and raced to commend her to their king. Sarai was taken to Pharaoh's house, separated from her husband, a pawn in a dangerous game. Pharaoh treated Abram well for her sake, showering him with gifts. Abram received sheep, oxen, male donkeys, male and female servants, female donkeys and camels. But the Lord, who sees all, did not let this injustice stand. The Lord plagued Pharaoh and his house with great plagues because of Sarai,
Help me!
Abram's
It burns!
wife. Sickness and shadow fell upon the royal court, revealing the truth that had been hidden. Pharaoh called Abram, his voice trembling with anger and fear. What is this you have done to me? The king demanded. Why did you not tell me that she was your wife?
Your sister?
Why did you say she is my
How
sister?
could you deceive me like this,
Pharaoh asked,
After
feeling
everything.
betrayed by the deception. I might have taken her as my
He is
wife,
truly mighty.
Pharaoh admitted,
We must let his
realizing
people go
how
before we
close he
all
came to
perish.
disaster. Now,
us
therefore,
Return
here
to
is
where
your
you
wife.
came from before
Take
this
her
plague
and go your
consumes us
way.
all. Move
Pharaoh
faster. Keep the
commanded
pace.
his men
Away from the
concerning
city
him,
now.
and they escorted Abram out of the country. Abram went up from Egypt, humiliated but wealthy, with his wife and all that he had. Lot was still with him, and they traveled back toward the south. Abram was now very rich in livestock, in silver, and in gold. He retraced his steps as far as Bethel, to the place where his tent had been at the beginning. He returned to the altar which he had made there at first. There,
beg of you,
Abram called
cleanse
on the
my
name of the
spirit.
Lord,
I
perhaps
am
seeking
unworthy,
forgiveness for his
yet I
lack
seek
of
your
trust in
mercy.
Egypt.
Get
But
back,
new
move the
wealth
cattle
brought
back.
new problems.
not enough.
Lot also had flocks and herds and tents, and the land was not able to support them both. Their
There is not
possessions
enough
were
room for
so
all of us.
great
Your herds
that they
must
could
move.
not dwell
Staying
together.
right here.
This
Strife
water belongs
broke
to
out
us.
between the
Move your
herdsmen
cattle
of
back.
Abram's livestock
We need this for
and the
our flock.
herdsmen
Get out
of
of the
Lot's
way.
livestock.
They
The
are
Canaanites and the Perizzites
Time is
also
almost
dwelt
right.
in the land,
Prepare the others.
adding to the tension. Abram, seeking peace, spoke to Lot with the wisdom of an elder. Please let there be no strife
us, for we are
between
family.
you and me.
Look around.
Abram
the
said
land is
gently,
vast. Do
for
not let
we
your
are
heart be
brethren.
troubled, Lot.
He reminded his nephew.
We are family.
Is not the whole land before
North,
you?
south, east,
Abram
and
asked,
west. All the
gesturing
land you
to the
see,
horizon.
Choose where the
Please
hills to the
separate
left,
from me.
or the valley
If you
to
take the
right.
left, then I will
Choose
go to the
whichever
right.
you wish, Lot.
Or if you go to the right, then I will go to the left. Abram offered, giving Lot the first choice. Lot lifted his eyes and looked out over the valley. He saw all the plain of Jordan, that it was well watered everywhere. It looked like the garden of the Lord, like the land of Egypt. This was before the Lord destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah, and the land was seductive in its beauty. Driven by sight rather than faith, Lot chose for himself all the plain of Jordan. Abram dwelt in the land of Canaan, remaining in the rugged hills. Lot
Careful with
dwelled
that
in the
pole,
cities
lads.
of the
We
plain
wouldn't want to
and
disturb
pitched
the
his
city
tent
gates.
even as
Make sure the
far as
ropes are
Sodom.
secure.
But
They
the
are
men of
finally
Sodom
here.
were
Look
exceedingly
at what they've
wicked
brought.
and
We'll pay them a
sinful
visit when the
against the
moon
Lord.
is high.
After
Abram,
Lot had
Your
separated
journey
from
is
him,
long.
the Lord
but my
spoke to
promise is
Abram again
everlasting.
to reassure him.
Look to the
Lift your eyes now and look from the place where you are, God commanded. Northward, southward, eastward, and westward. For all the land which you see, I give to you and your descendants forever. And I will make your descendants as the dust of the earth. Arise, walk in the land through its length and its width, for I give it to you. Then Abram moved his tent and went and dwelt by the terebinth trees of Mamre. He was now in Hebron, and once again he built an altar there to the Lord. Some time later, the drums of war echoed through the valley. A war broke out between 4 powerful eastern kings and 5 kings of the Jordan Valley. The kings of Sodom and Gomorrah were involved in this brutal conflict. The eastern kings, led by King Kedorlaomer, defeated the 5 kings. They looted their cities, taking people and possessions as spoils of war. Among the captives was Lot, Abram's nephew, who had been living in Sodom. One who had escaped
They came from the
ran
east,
to tell
Master.
Abram the
Lot,
Hebrew.
they have taken.
When Abram heard that his brother had been captured, a warrior's spirit awoke within him. He gathered 318 trained men from his household, men born in his own house. They pursued the invaders all the way to Dan. He divided his forces against them by night, launching a surprise attack. The element of surprise and the favor of God were on his side. He defeated them and pursued them, rescuing Lot and all his goods. He also brought back the women and the people, securing a total victory. As Abram returned from the slaughter of the kings, he was met by a mysterious figure. Melchizedek, king of Salem and priest of God Most High, came out to meet him. He brought out bread and wine, a foreshadowing of a future covenant. He blessed Abram and said, "Blessed be Abram of God Most High, possessor of heaven and earth. And blessed be God
It is
Most
by your
High,
strength alone
who has
that
delivered
we
your
were saved."
enemies into your hand." Abram gave him a tithe of all, recognizing the divine authority of this priest. The king of Sodom then said to Abram,
All the goods,
"Give me
however,
the
belong to
persons
me by right
and
of
take the
rescue."
goods for yourself."
Take the
But
goods,
Abram raised his
Consider it a token
hand
of my
and
gratitude.
refused to
I will
take
take
even a
nothing that
thread
belongs to you,
or sandal
lest you
strap.
say you have
I will
will
not
take
take
nothing
anything
belonging
that
to
is
you,
yours,
lest you say,
lest you
"I
should
have made
say,
Abram rich.
I have made
My
Abraham
trust is in
rich.
God alone.
Abram relied only on God, not on the wealth of wicked kings. After these things, the word of the Lord came to Abram in a vision. "Do not be afraid, Abram." But Abram, heavy with the ache of an empty lineage, replied with raw honesty, "Lord God, what will you give me, seeing I go childless? The heir of my house is Eliezer of Damascus," he said, pointing to his servant. "Look, you have given me no offspring. Indeed, one born in my house is my heir." And behold, the word of the Lord came to him again. "This
Not
one
yet,
shall
my
not be
son.
your heir," God
You must
declared
be strong.
firmly, "but one who will come from your
not
own
be
body
afraid, Abram.
shall be your heir."
I am your
Then God brought him outside into the cool night air. "Look now toward heaven and count the stars if you are able to number them."
They are like
Abram looked up, his old eyes tracing the infinite constellations. "So shall your descendants be," God promised. And in that moment, under the starlight, Abram believed in the Lord, and God accounted it to him for righteousness. Yet, as time passed, silence filled the tents of Abram and Sarai. Sarai, desperate and feeling the shame of barrenness, devised a plan. She had an Egyptian maidservant whose name was Hagar. "See now, the Lord has restrained me from bearing children," Sarai said with a trembling voice.
Heed my
"Please,
plea,
go
Abram.
into my
Look
maid.
towards the
Perhaps I
tent.
shall obtain children by
Weary,
her."
Sarai.
Heed my
Abram,
plea, Abram.
weary of
Look
waiting,
towards the tent.
heeded the voice of his wife.
Weary, Sarai.
Hagar
way she
conceived,
walks.
and the balance of
see the
power
bump?
in the
It
household
must be his.
shifted instantly.
She thinks she. Look at
Sarai
the way she
became
walks.
despised in Hagar's
Did you see the
eyes,
bump?
and
It must
bitterness
be
took
his.
root.
How could
Sarai
you do this to
blamed
me, Abram,
Abram,
after everything
saying,
we've been through?
"My wrong be
Please,
upon you.
must listen.
How
I
could you
gave
do
my
this to
maid
me,
into
Abram,
your
after
embrace."
everything we've been
And when
through?
she saw that she had
Please, you must listen
conceived,
to me.
I
It is not
became
as it seems.
despised.
How?
Abram
I wash
said
my
to
hands of
Sarai,
this.
"Your maid
She
is in your
yours,
hand.
Sarai.
Do to
Do what
her
you
as you
must."
please." Sarai dealt harshly with her, and Hagar, unable to bear the cruelty, fled into the wilderness. The angel of the Lord found her by a spring
Do not
of
be
water,
afraid, Hagar.
alone and weeping.
I have
Hagar, Sarai's
Hagar,
maid, where have you come from? And where are you
Where
going?
are you going?
I'm
I brought
fleeing
this
from the
sorrow
presence of
upon
my
myself, I
mistress
know.
Sarai. she
How
sobbed.
can I return?
The angel said, "Return to your mistress
I will increase
and
your
submit
descendants
yourself
so that they will
under
be
her
too
hand."
numerous to
But he gave her a
gaze
promise.
upon the sand.
I will multiply your
So
descendants
numerous shall
exceedingly.
your descendants
You shall bear a son.
gaze upon.
Hagar returned, and she bore Abram a son, and Abram named him Ishmael. Abram was 86 years old when Ishmael was born. 13 years passed, and silence hung over the promise of a son through Sarai. When Abram was 99 years old, the Lord appeared to him again. "I'm Almighty God. Walk before me and be blameless. No longer shall your name be called Abram, but your name shall be Abraham. For I have made you a father of many nations." And regarding his wife, God said, "You shall not call her name Sarai, but Sarah shall be her name. I will bless her and also give you a son by her." Abraham fell on his face and laughed, the absurdity of it overwhelming him. "Shall a child be born to a man who is 100 years old?" he thought. "And shall Sarah, who is 90 years old, bear a child?" He pleaded for Ishmael, but God was specific.
Do
"No,
not laugh,
Sarah your
Abraham.
wife
My
shall bear you a
covenant is
son,
established.
and you shall
You
call
shall
his
be
name
the
Isaac."
father of- Do
Soon
not
after,
laugh, Abraham.
Abraham was
My
sitting in the
covenant is
tent door in the heat of
established.
the day.
You shall
He lifted his eyes and saw 3 men standing by him. He ran to meet them, bowing low, sensing their divine nature. He rushed to Sarah.
We have guests.
"Quickly,
3 strangers by the
make
oak tree.
ready
They
3
said I will have a son by
measures
you.
of
A
fine
son.
meal."
Oh, Abraham.
While they
Where is
ate
your
under the
wife,
tree,
Sarah?
they asked,
She is
"Where
there,
is Sarah your wife?"
inside the tent.
"Here, in the tent," Abraham replied.
Yes, the other.
One of them said, "I will certainly return to you."
The others.
We have
Sarah
to
was
tell her.
listening in the
It's too
tent
late.
door
The caravan
behind him.
leaves at
She laughed within herself, thinking, "After I have grown old, shall I have pleasure?" The Lord heard her silent
your
thought
wife,
and
Sarah?
asked Abraham, "Why did Sarah laugh? Is anything too
Where is
hard
your
for
wife,
the Lord?"
Sarah?
Sarah denied it out of fear, but the Lord knew.
I
The
must
men
ask,
rose and
what
looked
fate
towards
awaits the
Sodom,
cities below?
and Abraham went with
Their
them.
wickedness.
The Lord
outcry
revealed
against
his
Sodom and
plan to
Gomorrah is
destroy
so
Sodom
great, and
and
their sin
Gomorrah
so grievous
because
that
their
I will go
sin was
down and
great.
see.
Abraham,
Beg you, Lord,
thinking
if
of
only
Lot,
50 righteous
began
are
to
found there, will you
intercede
still
for the city.
destroy it? Will
"Would you
indeed
also
sweep
destroy
away
the righteous with the wicked?" he asked
Surely the
boldly.
judge of all.
He negotiated with God, counting down
If
from
I find
50
50, I will
righteous
spare
men
them
to
all.
10.
What if 40?
"I will
To your
not
descendants
destroy
I
it
have
for the
given
sake
this
of
land.
10, the Lord
Look now
promised.
toward the star.
But
To
10
your
righteous
descendants I have
men
given this
were not
land.
found in Sodom.
Look now to my
2
lords.
angels arrived in
Please turn aside
Sodom
to
in
your
the
servant's
evening,
house and
and
spend
Lot
the night.
met them at the gate.
who are
The
My
wickedness of
lords,
the city
please turn
was
aside to
revealed
your
that
servant's
night
house and
as a
spend the
mob
night.
surrounded
who
Lot's
are these
house.
strangers?
They demanded the visitors, intending violence and depravity. The angels struck the mob with blindness and urged Lot to flee.
Run!
"Escape for
Do
your
not
life.
Look back, whatever
Do
you
not
do.
look behind
Wait,
you," they
I
warned.
forgot my thing.
As the sun rose, the Lord rained brimstone and fire on Sodom and Gomorrah. Lot's wife, longing for her old life, looked back and became a pillar of salt. Abraham looked out from his place high up and saw the smoke of the land rising like a furnace. Time moved on, and the impossible came to pass. The Lord visited Sarah as he had said, and she conceived. She bore Abraham a son in his old age at the set time. Abraham called the name of his son Isaac, meaning laughter. Sarah said, "God has made me laugh, and all who hear will laugh with me." But the joy was mixed with tension as Ishmael mocked Isaac.
You
Sarah
must send them
demanded that
away. I
Hagar
demand
and
it.
Ishmael be cast out.
You
It
must send
grieved
them away. I
Abraham
demand
deeply,
it.
but God told him to listen to
It
Sarah.
grieves me.
Early in the morning, Abraham gave Hagar bread and water and sent them away. It was a heartbreaking departure, but God protected the boy in the wilderness. Then came the ultimate test, the moment that would define faith forever. Abraham, God called, "Go to the land of Moriah and offer him there as a burnt offering." Yet Abraham rose early, saddled his donkey, and took Isaac. For 3 days they traveled, the father carrying the weight of the secret. Isaac carried the wood, and Abraham carried the fire and the knife. "My father," Isaac
Father,
said,
we have
"Look,
the fire
the
and the
fire
wood,
and the wood,
but where is
but
the
where
lamb
is
for
the
the
lamb?"
offering?
Abraham's
My son,
voice did not
God
shake as he
himself will
replied,
provide the
"My
lamb
son,
for the burnt offering.
God will
He
provide for
always
himself a
provides."
lamb." They reached the place, and Abraham built the altar. He bound Isaac, his beloved son, and laid him on the wood. He stretched out his hand and took the knife to slay his son. "Abraham, Abraham," the angel of the Lord called from heaven. "Do not lay your hand on the lad, for now I know that you fear God." Abraham looked up and saw a ram
provision
caught
from
in a
the
thicket
Lord.
by its horns. He
The
offered the
Lord
ram
provides.
instead of his son
Let this
and
place
named
be
the place
named
the Lord will
Jehovah.
provide. The journey was complete. The faith was proven. God swore by himself, "In your seed all the nations of the earth shall be blessed." Abraham stood on the mountain, the father of faith, looking toward a future he would not see, but fully trusted. He was just a man who listened, obeyed, and counted the stars.